I have made the difficult decision to delay my world domination to October 19th.
Sir Arthur Pendragon. Quite an odd name for a Sea of Thieves pirate. A few of you might make the connection to King Arthur himself, and you wouldn't be far off that assumption, as Pendragon was actually the heroine of an old 80s side-scroller game called The Black Witch. This was the most popular of all the titles at the time, but there were many others starring Pendragon and his adventures. And this Pendragon was based off King Arthur himself. The games were also produced by a very early collaboration of developers called Ultimate Play the Game, which later then became Rare Ltd. And Pendragon and his ship, the Black Witch, made it into Sea of Thieves as an Easter egg. But that simply wasn't enough for the developers, as they decided to make him a character within the game itself, and quite an important role too, the Champion of Souls. With his mysterious blade gifted to him by the Order of Souls, which has the ability to not only release souls from objects, but literally tear the souls out of the living, which is something Greymarrow did to him after his infamous battle, which resulted in his soul being trapped into his painting on his own ship. He was later released by Stitcher Jim, but not for selfless reasons, and his spectral form is how we know him today. Unfortunately, Pendragon hasn't had the best track record when it comes to his deeds within Sea of Thieves. Time after time, he has attempted to get something done, but failed miserably. In fact, I think the only time he ever did something right was within the final tall tale for the pirate's life, where he summoned a fleet of spectral ships to help take down Davy Jones. Aside from that, even from his initial landing in Sea of Thieves, he has failed every single step of the way, which isn't much of a champion of souls, in my views. His most recent failure was trusting in the pirates within the Sea of Thieves to band together with him and banish Captain Flameheart. But he forgot two very important things. Firstly, he was the one responsible for summoning Flameheart in the first place, and people just really like flame cosmetics. On that note, a quick shout out to my Patreons. Thanks for your support, you devilish pirates. Due to the community's choice though, it was Pendragon himself who was banished to a remote area within the Sea of the Damned, a place that not even Bell or the Ancients can reach, with no hope of return. I think this was a combination of several things. The community just really wanted to see Flameheart emerge. I mean, in the 5 years we've been playing this game, we've only seen Flameheart as a glowing skull and a dead body. Plus, I think people were just really sick of following Pendragon's quests, only to be bitterly disappointed at the end of every story arc. He'd already dug his own grave the second he stabbed that painting and bound himself to the Sea of the Damned. Compared to Save Golden Sands, where the results in fact were very close, Return of the Damned was a renowned success in favor of Flameheart. His final failure, his final choice, and this time it was the community who had control, not him. Since that moment though, all we have seen of him is a picture of his isolation at Reaper's hideout. Now I think it's important to mention that although this picture shows Pendragon cast into what appears to be Sailor's grave, he's not actually there. This isn't the same scenario as his picture on the Black Witch. His literal soul was bound to the painting. He was the painting. He wasn't in the Sea of the Damned, he was literally the painting itself. This picture is more symbolic more than anything. It's stating that he has been banished, not that he is bound to it. Pendragon is lost, without redemption, nestled within some abstract place within the afterlife itself. So where might he be? Now we know one thing. The most recent Monkey Island Tall Tales will apparently have a crossover at some point, much like how the Dark Brethren appeared in the Pirate's Life Tall Tales, and we finally figured out the agenda of the Masked Stranger and the whereabouts of Duke and the Gold Hoarder. I still remember when this happened, and it was a very awesome moment. The way the Sea of Thieves lore characters were weaved into the Pirates of the Caribbean storyline was immaculate, and it's honestly something Rare loved to do. So given at the end of the first Monkey Island tall tale, we discover that LeChuck was in fact the Pirate Lord's imposter all along from the adventure The Dark Deception, and it was in fact him that was after the Sword of Souls, now tainted with the energy of Flameheart's will, it really does make you wonder, will Pendragon make a return with this story arc? He is, after all, bound to this sword, much the same way he was bound to his painting, but how would he make an appearance? Within the Monkey Island storyline, LeChuck holds the secret to a legendary treasure, something that Guybrush spent a lot of time looking for, mainly because he had learned from Karina that it would give him and Elaine the power to escape LeChuck forever. However, it was soon discovered that this treasure wasn't an inanimate object, but rather a portal to a hellish dimension, a place where LeChuck was granted his powers of illusion and immortality. And now that the Monkey Island and the Sea of Thieves universe are canon, could this pocket of a hellish dimension be this treasure that LeChuck talks of? Furthermore, could the entrance to this hellish dimension be within the Sea of the Damned, within a shrine that Briggsy has recently been coerced into visiting, with an ancient evil locked behind a door begging to be opened? Could this be where Pendragon resides? And will he surface again soon? Also, Twitch drops this weekend, Mutinous Fist stuff and some other stuff, and links down below. See you there.